Welcome to the first round of a very special event here on Maconi Entertainment. Tonight is round one of the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet. Kicking things off, we're here at Charlotte with some Legends cars, but this is just round one for this series. The Drivers Gauntlet is a 7-week series designed to emulate the progression of a driver from the beginning ranks of racing Legends cars all the way up the ladder system and into the next gens. Tonight we are starting on a nice June night here in North Carolina for some local racing. My name is Joey Atterbury, and joining me in the booth tonight is Robert Hill. Eddie Smith will be working the controls as our producer, and we're using camera angles being provided by Dougie Beard. Race control tonight is Brandon Davis, and welcome to the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet. Robert, since we are here kicking things off in Charlotte, we're going to be using the front stretch mini oval, not the big 1.5 miles. Are there any tips and tricks about this place?
Yeah, good evening, Joey. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Charlotte Legends Oval. This is a track that is 0.28 miles in length. And, this track can be a little tough. It is very flat. A little bit of banking on the front stretch, and then they come down the pit road that is typically used by the NASCAR vehicles that is very flat. So these guys are going to have to be careful with these turns, as it is going to be close battles all night long. Not a lot of room for forgiveness and lots of room for beating and banging, that's for sure.
Well, and as you see, the front stretch on the NASCAR oval side is slightly banked, and pit road is pretty flat over there. There's slight differences, and also we're here on that June night like we mentioned, so I think the sun will be going down, something else to keep an eye on. And we were just watching some practice times go down, Robert, but it looks like we're going to be switching into qualifying, and if memory serves me correct here, looks like all of the competitors are going to have 2 laps available and only 5 minutes on the clock to be able to put down their qualifying time.
Yeah, that is correct. 2 laps of qualifying tonight, 5 minutes to get it done, which is plenty of time. You're looking at about a 16-second lap time out here, so you could wait till the last minute of qualifying, go out and put your laps down. But we have quite a few heavy hitters in this field, and a lot of guys that are trying to work their way up. So it's going to be interesting to see the varying levels of experience and skill on the track together, and it all starts with qualifying.
And you said that, before we even got live here, you were recognizing some of the names that are on the time and scoring screen. And just like that, Guillaume's qualifying effort is already done. Only 16-second lap times these Legends cars are doing on this little itty-bitty front stretch mini oval. And that lap time, Guillaume Hesno there, good enough for provisional second place. And I think that maybe we have a couple more cars that are waiting to put down a lap time, but I'm seeing 22 cars have already put something down here for us, Robert.
22 cars have put a time in. We're still waiting on laps from Curtis Hedden, Dakota Brown, and Jacob Reeves, which may come up in the last few minutes here. Like we said, they could do both laps in under 1 minute time, so they may just be waiting for the end of qualifying. But yeah, it's very interesting looking through the field, seeing some of the names that we recognize, some that we don't. We've seen guys like Joey Masevich in other series look really good. Jeff Maconi, of course, is here. Zach Novak, one of the top drivers on the sim, currently 5th in qualifying, getting beat out by some guys that I don't really recognize. So it's nice to see some of these rather unknown people have an opportunity to beat some of the best.
Well, and we also have to remember, Robert, we're racing Legends cars on a little tiny track. Now, these cars are fit for the track, but these drivers aren't necessarily in these types of cars and tracks all the time. They're usually in the bigger cars, the more popular tracks that we've grown accustomed to seeing. And it's going to be a little bit of a shakeup in who can adapt the quickest out here.
That's exactly right. Of course, this is a very tough track to get used to. The Legends Oval here at Charlotte was built and designed after the famous Bowman Gray Stadium, which has produced some incredible racing over the years. And of course, here at Charlotte, there's so much history as well. And somebody here tonight's looking to make a bit of history of their own.
And here looks like we've got another 30 seconds or so for cars to be able to put down a lap time. And I think the only one that's out there doing laps right now is maybe Mark McNutt out there. Shout out to the number 25 car. He's getting some practice in right now, but looks like he's just pulling off the racetrack. And yeah, there's two cars that have not put down a lap time, and I think they're going to opt to start from the back. I see Jeff Maconi on the radio giving some last little bits of advice and thank yous to all of these competitors. You got to remember that this is an event that you got to pay to enter unless you won your way in, but we're also giving away quite a bit of cash to each race winner here tonight. And I believe tonight's going to be $50 going to the race winner.
Yeah, taking a look at the information we've been provided for this series, it is $50 to win tonight. And then next week, we go to Martinsville, another $50. A week after that, Five Flag Speedway, another $50. And it keeps going up from there all the way to the next gen finale on March 11th at Daytona. $250 on the line there. So an $800 purse for this short series here. A lot of money on the line and a short time to get there.
And we've got a small little warm-up for all of these drivers to get used to all of the cars on track after doing their solo 2-lap qualifying. And none of this would be possible without Maconi Setup Shop and Maconi Competizone. Maconi Setup Shop, if you head on over to www.maconisetupshop.com, you can see everything they have to offer, including various subscriptions to different types of cars and racing, whether it be oval, road course, dirt, and even off-road racing. Take your iRacing game up a notch with MaconiSetupShop.com. Also, if you're interested in hosting your own event, Maconi Competizone. If you're interested in everything from hosting a league, a race, or even the broadcast aspect, Jeff Maconi can help you get it done. Go to that same website, MaconiSetupShop.com. Click on Event Broadcasts up there, and you can find out more information about everything that Jeff Maconi can do for you. And I know, Robert, that Jeff stays very busy. Not only does he help run and put on all of these different events, all of the different broadcasts, but I see him on the entry list as well. He's out there in a Legends car.
Yeah, taking a look at the entry list, Jeff Maconi is in the field tonight. Looks like he put down a 7th place qualifying effort. So the boss man showing a little bit of pace here tonight, and it'll be interesting to see what he can do out there. But as he enters the track and immediately flips over one of his teammates. So not a good start for Jeff Maconi here in the warm-up.
Well, hey, that's what warm-up is all for. And here's a good shot of that 03 car, and pretty good livery that he's got on it. Lots of familiar logos. Got lots of the black and yellow and all of the familiar Maconi Setup Shop, Maconi Entertainment, the whole Maconi plethora. And I believe it's Bank of Maconi that's going to be dishing it out tonight. Isn't it, Robert?
That's exactly right. Jeff has his pockets open. He's ready to pull out that $50 and hand it to tonight's race winner. Bank of Maconi is ready and open for business.
And you gotta love, like, the ode to the speed racer there with the Maconi helmet. And he does that a lot with the various liveries that he has, and always has a fun time. And the other reason why I'm highlighting, I know that we're looking at the virtual Jeff, but he's got this brand new racing rig that he is so proud of, and he loves to show it off whenever he can. And let me tell you, it is quite the setup compared to his old stuff. And we're going to see if that's going to help him out on the performance aspect at all tonight, because driving these Legends cars on this little itty-bitty racetrack, you really have to be in tune with everything going on.
Yeah, most definitely. A lot of action on this small little oval here, and just about anything can happen in a moment's notice, and you don't often have time to avoid it. So it'll be interesting to see if that new setup for Jeff Maconi plays any part in how he does here tonight, as it looks like we are gridding.
Here we have our official grid results for the start of our 2023 Drivers Gauntlet. Pole position, the number 13, Josh Cottle. Joining him on the front row, Guillaume Hesno. Aaron Smith there in the third position, Keegan Sobilo fourth, Zach Novak inside the top five. Carson Lucas, sixth position, Jeff Maconi, seventh, Tanner Marr in the eighth spot, Jason Hurdle, ninth, and in 10th, Brian Sabelski.
Brandon Evans rolls off in the 11th position tonight with Eric Sellers to his outside. In 13th, we find Jacob Reeves alongside Chris Wilhite. And rounding out the top 15 tonight, Brian Zimmerman. Rolling off 16th, Blanca Gonzalez alongside Blair Patterson. Kyle Wisner and Michael Klein there in 18th and 19th. And rounding out the top 20, Shane Tierney.
Just a few more here. Joey Masevich in 21st, Mike Scarborough, Mark McNutt, Dakota Bro, and Curtis Hedden round out the all 25 Legends cars that are going to be taking the green flag here. And we're going to be going to the green flag racing very quickly because the pace car is already on its second lap on the back straightaway. It's going to pull off. Josh Cottle going to be looking at the green flag from Barney the Flagman. And we're going to be off and underway here for the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet. 100 laps at this Charlotte Oval. And looks like we're going to do one more pace lap here. And Robert, you know, I'm just not the short track guy. I come from the road race world, so I'm already messing up over here.
It all comes with the experience. You're working your way up the oval ladder now here, Joey, with the Gauntlet series. And does look like the pace car will come off this time and hand the field over to our pole sitter to get us going.
Here comes Josh Cottle. The field is in his hands. He's going to wait to get on the throttle. And we've got a green flag on the racetrack. A little bit of a stack up in the outside lane, but everybody charges into turn one for the first time, and they make it through turns one and turn two cleanly. No contact from what I see. Three wide, a little bit further back.
Yeah, on that initial start, it looked like Guillaume Hainaut did not get going. Had a little bit of a bump from Aaron Smith. Caution is out on the racetrack.
I believe this is for Brian Zimmerman and Mike Scarborough. They're on the front straightaway here, so I would assume this probably happened exiting turn four, if I was to take a guess. Yep, and sure enough, here's Zimmerman. Oh, Zimmerman was just an innocent collected in that, and then unfortunately you see more dominoes fall after it. It just kind of happens in racing when you find yourself at the wrong place at the wrong time. Nothing good really ever happens. You see this green car just get a little bit loose and then collect Brian Zimmerman, and the field had nowhere to go after that.
Yeah, I do believe the green car involved in that incident was Blanca Gonzalez. I may be incorrect there, but you had mentioned turn four here. That's one of the tougher corners of this racetrack. You come off of turn four back onto the NASCAR front straightaway, and it can get pretty loose on exit, which we saw there with the car going around. Yeah, it was Blanca Gonzalez here. Gets a little squirrely, and unfortunately ends up in a large pack of cars that decided to go around.
And you see the aftermath here just from an innocent spin coming off of turn four and brings out our first yellow flag of the night. Now, Robert, I've done plenty of short track races where yellows breed yellows and it gets a little while before the race actually gets going. I'm curious to see if we're going to have that out of the Legends cars or if we'll get a good green flag run out of the racers.
Yeah, a track that's small like this, such as the Charlotte's Legends Oval, and being a series that most of these guys have not raced together before, you can expect a few incidents to start the race, and then towards the second half, things should clear up a little bit. But we have some great drivers in this field that I think if they get their head in under them, they can get going quite well as the leader's off.
Yeah, Josh Cottle with a very early jump in comparison to the initial start. Heads off, and we're working lap number 7 of 100 here. Everybody gets out of turn 2. Okay, a couple cars really loose on exit, and I think that's what we're going to see tonight, Robert, is these cars, when they squeeze on the throttle, they tend to really steer with the back end.
Yeah, these motorcycle engines inside these legend cars tend to pick up rather quickly, as we did see Zach Novak get a little squirrely onto the back straightaway once they got going there. But, we have got a few laps under green here on this run. So these guys are looking pretty good as we see Guillaume Hainaut making a run towards Josh Cottle here, trying to make a move on the leader as the
We
caution
got a
is
problem. We
back
had
out.
Chris Willite on the back straightaway, as well as Jacob Reeves involved and Eric Sellers. Those were the three cars, the number 97, the 57, and the number 7. Have to take a look at what happened, but I think this one's going to be coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, taking a look here, it actually looked like it started off of turn 4.
And then it continues on, because this isn't what brought out the yellow flag. Actually, it's what happens off of turn 2 is what brings off the yellow flag.
Yeah, I had heard race control calling a car stopped on the back straightaway, which I do believe is what brought out the yellow, which we'll watch here. Yeah, right there. Chris Wilhite and others ended up involved in that incident. It was an unlucky time to have a number 7 in your number, though, because all of them 97, 57, and 7.
You're right. And oddly enough, I'm going through the rest of the field. Those are the only 3 cars that are ending in the number 7. So very unlucky in that wreck. And wouldn't be surprised if that also happened on lap 7, to tell you the truth.
I do believe the caution may have come out on lap 10 or so. So luckily for them, the 7 curse did not continue. But,
well, we're not in Vegas, so we'll scratch that one out. And I wonder what we'll get here. We got Brandon Davis doing race control, so I know that he is up there trying to get a hold of everybody and tell everybody to calm down a little bit. But also, this is how short track racing is. There's not really very many places to go. This is why these drivers hone their skills at these levels, is to be able to drive the more advanced cars.
That's exactly it. And that's why we have this Gauntlet series. It's an opportunity for people to learn and develop and work their way up that oval ladder. Of course, we're going to go from legends to late models to super late models and so on until we reach the NASCAR ranks. So it'll be interesting to see these guys throughout the series and how they improve as the green flag is now in the hands of the flagman, Josh Cottle, back underway.
Yeah, Cottle with a nice early jump once again down into turn 1, in control of the field, and looks like everybody makes it through turn 1 okay. And it seems like the more laps these competitors are getting on these cars, the more comfortable they're getting with the yaw angle in them, and we're getting to see a little bit more of the racing that we typically get out of short track, with some good late lunges and side-by-side racing.
Yeah, exactly. As you see these guys getting settled in, an odd pass here and there, but for the most part, they're getting back into line and trying to navigate their way through the field, examining and analyzing every opportunity to make a move. As we do see Josh Cottle still out front over Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith was able to get by Guillaume Hainaut on that restart, and now he's going to charge forward, trying to get up to Cottle here.
Well, and I know that Aaron Smith is always very, very fast, but it's almost like our producer is reading my mind, because we're jumping to Zach Novak. Now, Zach has moved up just a couple positions from his starting spot, but he looks to be one of the faster cars on the racetrack. He's made a couple moves on this last restart, and he's trying to work his way around Guillaume right now. And for the most part, it's single file, but it's so tough to try to get the run out of the corner exit. You see Zach try to make a little bit lunge, try to diamond off the corner to really capitalize on the straightaway in order to make the lunge on the brakes.
Yeah, 2019 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series champion Zach Novak showing what he can do here on the ovals, as he is charging towards Guillaume Hainaut here, showing some of his experience. I know he has been behind the wheel of a Legends car in the past in the real world, as he ducks to the inside of Hainaut here, move Zach Novak up into the 3rd position.
Really good racing from Zach. He just kept crowding the inside, He was in control of his car the whole time until Guillaume finally just overdrove the corner, and Zach slipped right up underneath a very, very good pass out of that 75 Zach Novak. And Guillaume now finds himself on the outside lane. That's Keegan Sobilo that's going to make his way around. And I think that the 68's going to, he's going to defend hard down to the inside now. He doesn't want to get shoved up the racetrack anymore and give up any more of this track position.
Yeah, that's the thing. You definitely do not want to be caught on the outside here at the Charlotte Legends Oval. You want to take the shortest way around this track, especially with it being so flat. You really want to be in control, as we see a car around there off of turn number 2.
Yellow flag on the racetrack. Not sure who that was.
Mark McNutt.
Mark McNutt. I saw him. He was, let's see here, down in 23rd spot. He's already a handful of laps off of the lead. I think this is just going to be a solo incident, and
Carried a bit too much speed into turn 1, sent him around there. Very close in front of the leaders, though. That could have been really bad.
I agreed. Just a little bit too much speed, but he does the right thing right here. Is he just locks it down and kind of waits for the field to go around rather than put it into gear and drive into somebody. You know, that was very important, and good job, Mark, for keeping it locked down.
Yeah, as we ride on board with Josh Cottle there, it was a lot closer than I expected, actually, as he came up rather quickly on the spun-out car of Mark McNutt. But like you mentioned, Mark did a great job of just locking down the brakes, making it predictable as to where his car would be, and not getting in front of anybody or trying to back out of it and causing a bigger wreck. It ended up just being a solo spin. Mark did exactly what he needed to do there.
Well, and to talk about that more, because it happens very often in the sim, a lot of drivers don't necessarily have triple monitor setups or virtual reality that they can see that peripheral angle. So a lot of times these sim racers pull out onto the racetrack and they don't even know it. So yeah, just good heads up driving of Mark knowing what was coming up and just calm down, take a minute, let everything come down with the yellow flag, and then get rolling again.
Absolutely. And of course, he did lose another lap with that incident, but it could have been a lot worse. He could have ended up on pit road having to get damage repaired. So you take what you can get there, as the pace car is coming off the racetrack, handing the field back down to Josh Cottle and Aaron Smith.
Keep an eye on the blue 75, the second row. Zach Novak gets a really good jump down low. Curious if Aaron Smith is going to be able to close the door. He's not. This is going to make Zach Novak up into second place, which is exactly what Josh Cottle does not want to see. The 75 taking advantage on a restart, side by side a little bit further back, but I got my eye up front on the 75.
What we saw earlier with Novak and Hainaut, Novak just lurked in the background for a few laps, waited for an opportunity to pounce, and he did. As we see Zach Novak take a look to the inside, Zach Novak looking to take the race lead here at the Charlotte Legends Oval, and he does.
Yeah, down to the inside. Once again, a really clean pass from Zach Novak, and big wreck on the back straightaway. Several cars involved. I believe that includes Jason Hurdle, Blair Patterson, more. Maybe Brandon Evans already hit the tow button in that one. Oh boy, that was tough.
I don't know if it involved Jason Hurdle, but it looked like somebody was jumping hurdles out there as we saw a legend car flipping down that back straightaway.
I love the reference here. Here's Brandon Evans. Oh, yeah, and then looks like maybe some net code after that with more cars piling in, but shows you how quickly things can happen on a short track. There's not very much space at all.
No, absolutely not. And there are no fast repairs here tonight. So those guys that were just involved in that incident there, if they have heavy damage, they are likely done for the day. Yeah, that was a huge impact into that wall. And then we see the car flip over here. That's not usually how you want to see your legend car on the track.
No, it is not. And you mentioned it, no fast repair. So the drivers will have to live with that. They'll come in and get it fixed. And here's the onboard from Jason Hurdle. He was the car that just got a little bit loose on the outside, and wow, right into that concrete wall and then smacked around more by I shouldn't say lapped cars, but cars coming through. Quite a wreck there just as we were getting going. But Robert, we saw Zach Novak go from the third position up to the lead, and he got that pass done just in time right before that yellow flag came out. So he's got the crucial inside lane for this restart.
Yeah, seeing Zach Novak now as the race leader, this is the first opportunity he's had to control the pace of this event. He's worked his way up through the field. We saw him battling from all the way back fifth, sixth place, and now Zach Novak, your race leader. As soon as the pace car goes off, expect that 75 car to take off, and we'll have to see what Josh Cottle does here when he has the opportunity to try to chase down the leader. As we did see, unfortunately, a wreck basically right after the pass was made. So we did not see what Cottle could do in second place as the pace car's off and Novak back underway here. What a jump by Cottle here.
Yeah, you called it. A great restart from the outside lane with Josh Cottle, and we're racing here at Charlotte under the lights. Zach Novak leading the way, Josh Cottle chasing him in second place. Keegan Sobilo now up into the third spot. Looks like Guillaume back in the fourth in that number 68, and then Aaron Smith now all the way back to the fifth place position.
Yeah, Aaron Smith just shuffled out there. Unfortunately, it looks like he got stuck on the outside as he now battles side by side with Jeff Maconi. Move Maconi up into the fifth spot here in the Gauntlet series, but Aaron Smith going the wrong way here as Josh Cottle is keeping it really close here with Zach Novak, and same in that third and fourth battle with Sobilo and Hainaut, as Josh Cottle looking for an opportunity to get back out front.
You know, I gotta say, I'm pretty surprised to see Aaron Smith falling back as quickly as I'm seeing. As we're riding on board with Josh Cottle, you're right, he's not giving up this lead at all. I really thought that the 75, once he got out front, might be able to stretch things out, but certainly seems like the number 13 has plenty of speed in it, and he wants that $50.
Yeah, most definitely. All of these guys looking for an opportunity to pick up the race winnings tonight, as Novak and Cottle look like they are coming up on a bunch of lap traffic here. That could make things really interesting here, as if you lose that inside preferred line, that could really set you back, and you could go the way of Aaron Smith, who has fallen all the way back into the seventh position now.
Now, we haven't seen this at all today because we've had short green flag runs, but this is also part of short track racing. When you get these longer runs like this, you get into the lap traffic and you have to navigate it very, very carefully, just like how we saw our leaders get crowded off of turn 4 with the first lap car they came up to. But it's part of racing, and you have to go up through it, and you have to charge your way up through it, because look at Josh Cottle. He is still right in the mirror.
That's exactly right. Josh Cottle continuing to charge forward, trying to get an opportunity to get by Novak, but I think he's best to wait until they catch this lap car traffic here and have an opportunity maybe to force Novak out of the preferred line by sticking his nose in there if he has the opportunity. As we see the number 23 machine just ahead of them there, he moves to the outside. That was Curtis Hedden as they continue to work through the lap traffic. Cottle getting even closer there.
And it's not only that the lapped cars they have to navigate out there, but they also have to be conscious of the drivers and where they're putting these lapped cars on the racetrack, because if you put them in a very nervous spot, I don't want to say it, but bad things can definitely happen out there. You just have to be conscious of everything that you do on the racetrack. And looks like we're going to be coming up to complete lap number 49. That means we are halfway through with tonight's Legends race here at the Charlotte Mini Oval. And looking through the field right now, I'm seeing a couple big movers, but the biggest mover is the number 52 Dakota Bro, up 12 positions, started 24th, currently running 12th.
Yeah, Dakota Bro just outside the top 10, doing a really good job. Of course, taking advantage of some of the incidents we've seen earlier today, but nonetheless, you take every position gained as you can get it, and Dakota Bro is doing a fantastic job here tonight, showing his pace on track at a relatively tough track as well. I mean, this Legends Oval is not too forgiving whatsoever.
We've seen it reach out and bite several drivers so far, whether it be the wall, whether it be wheel spin from the cars, and you're right, it is not very forgiving, and Zach Novak has his biggest lead of the night, and when I say big, it's only about 0.3 of a second, maybe about 2 car lengths right now, and looks like he's going to be coming up to more thick lapped traffic.
Yeah, as they work their way towards the mid portion of this field. Of course, next in line, I do believe, would be Michael Klein in the 15th position, and then Kyle Wisner, sorry, as they continue to work their way up through the field. Less and less cars on the lead lap, but more opportunity for things to go wrong as you put these quicker cars into a bit of that slower traffic. Of course, these guys ahead of them are battling for their own positions as well, so there's always a race within the race that these guys have to be mindful of. As we see Novak coming up on the back of one of the lap cars, Joey, this is where things get interesting.
Well, you mentioned it. It's about to get more interesting because the lap cars that they're coming up to are now starting to race for their own positions. Now, they will be getting the blue flag, and they're notified that the leader is coming up behind them, but they can still try to race to stay on the lead lap out there. They have every right in order to do that, and here you see Zach Novak having to go side by side with one of these cars down into turn 3, gets the pass done nice and cleanly. They start to navigate through quite efficiently, dropping that third place Keegan Sobilo and the number 68.
Yeah, you look now, Sabilo and Haino all the way back 1.2 and 1.7 seconds behind respectively. So right now it is just our leaders out front running alone right now, but they continue to work through the lap traffic. As we saw Novak slide up a little bit on the exit, kind of gave Cottle an opportunity if he wanted to dive in there, and he is getting right back up onto the rear bumper of our race leader, setting himself up for a potential pass here shortly, as we are 40 laps to go in the event. We have passed halfway. These guys are ticking the laps off rather quickly.
Ever since we got this longer green flag run, you're right, things have gone by very quickly, but it's been Zach Novak and Josh Cottle. Josh Cottle really led the beginning half of the race so far. Zach Novak has led the latter half of the race, and one thing's for sure, I think I see 2 different driving lines between these two. I think Zach Novak is a little bit more shallow on the entry and is able to hold the car all the way down on the bottom line throughout the racetrack, while Josh Cottle is giving up the entry just a little bit to try to square off the exit, which is exactly what he needs to do if he's trying to set up a pass.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Cottle kind of opening up the entry just a little bit more, trying to set himself up for a straight line exit off of the corners, which has seemed to work for him in the last few laps as they come up on a lap car in a relatively bad spot there, forced the drivers to duck it lower than they would have liked heading off into turn number 1, as it looks like Novak had an opportunity to pull away a little bit and Cottle said no.
Novak's car can just really hug the bottom of this racetrack, whether it be on corner entry or corner exit. That's where he lives on this racetrack, is shallow, shallow, shallow. And it's definitely working out for the leader. That's how we saw him make all of those passes straight to the lead, and it's also how he's defending. But if the 13, like I'm seeing, can square off that exit just a little bit, maybe this lap traffic that they're coming up to can be an opportunity to open the door.
That's exactly what Josh Cottle is hoping for as well. Hoping for that opportunity to pounce and move back towards the race lead here, as Zach Novak is showing his strength in the number 75 machine. And it's worth noting to those at home that this is a fixed setup race. So of course, everyone is running the exact same car. So this is a battle of driver skill and driver speed here tonight. And these two up front are showing a ton of it.
I know we've really been highlighting this, and once again, it's like I'm connected via Ethernet cable to our producer, but he's jumping back. This is Carson Lucas, Jeff Maconi, and Aaron Smith all battling it out for what is the 5th position on the racetrack, and Jeff Maconi actually just went from 5th all the way back to 7th, but he's actually having a really good run out there, keeping it nice and clean in this 0-3.
Yeah, we don't get to see Jeff out on track too much. I don't think as much as he would like anyways, but this is a rather close battle. Of course, we saw Jeff drop from 5th to 7th, and Aaron Smith working his way back up through the field. So it's always nice to see the tight racing throughout the field, and everyone being able to jump and drop as they can throughout the race. But still out front, 0.2 of a second, Novak over Cottle, and I do believe, aside from Tanner Marr and Brian Zimmerman, that is the closest battle on the racetrack.
Yeah, and just like you were mentioning, a good battle back there for the 5th, 6th, and 7th spot, as you see, Cottle and Novak are still in the thick of it, working their way up through this traffic. And another good battle is for the 8th position, Tanner Marr, Brian Zimmerman. Ooh, and we got a slow car that they were just working their way around off of turn 2. But I was saying this is Tanner Marr, now Brian Zabelski in the 9th spot, and Brian Zimmerman just lost that 9th position to Brian Zabelski in that turn number 2 incident.
Yeah, the battle to be the number 1 Brian here today between Zabelski and Zimmerman. These two working their way up through the field, chasing down Tanner Marr. You could throw a blanket over these 3 cars as they are all rather close to each other. And of course, last lap, they did have to split that lap car, so things got a little sketchier than they would have liked.
And looking through the field just a little bit further down, the last battle that we've got is Jacob Reeves chasing Dakota Bro. And I mentioned Dakota again because up one more spot, now up 13 total positions. That number 52 still working its way towards the front.
Dakota Bro has shown a lot of muscle here tonight, doing a fantastic job as Novak works his way through more lap traffic here. But Dakota Bro has worked his way up many spots here tonight, trying to chase down Brian Zimmerman. He is about a second off of the 10th place car, but if Bro continues the pace he's shown all night, he could work his way up inside that top 10 shortly.
Nothing has changed, although looks like Zach Novak got pinched just a little bit off of turn 2. It doesn't let him phase anything, though, although this might be the opportunity. Yeah, certainly Josh Cottle taking a look down the inside. That was just the foot in the door that the 13 was looking for, and he's going to claim the top spot coming off of turn 2. Novak now is going to have to find a way around Cottle.
Yeah, Zach Novak passed for the race lead, drops back into second. He's going to have to get back to lurking like we saw earlier, waiting for the opportunity to pounce. We have 19 laps remaining, coming to 18 to go. Those laps will tick off relatively quickly here, but for Novak, he just has to wait it out, time his pass perfectly, and make it count as he is chasing down Josh Cottle once again after a great run out front.
Well, we're riding on board with Zach Novak. Did you see the thick pack of cars that they're coming up to? This is one of those battles that we were just highlighting. So this race is far from over, but 17 laps to go, coming up to 16 laps to go. Things have been clicking off very fast here towards the end, and looks like the drivers out there are getting the message that the leaders are coming through and giving them plenty of racetrack.
Yeah, it's going to get tougher and tougher for these guys as they work up into the thick of that top 10 here in the next couple of laps. They have lapped up to, it looks like 12th place Jacob Reeves is the last car on the lead lap. So it's going to be interesting to see how they navigate through these guys. As we just saw on the camera there, that is a thick group of cars up ahead.
And yeah, these two leaders have separated themselves by over 3.5 seconds over third place. They are just on another planet right now, and I'm looking at it. I think that they've lapped all the way up to what I believe is 12th placed position. And yeah, they're just on a tear out there, but it's 3 wide racing in front of them, and they're coming up to it. They got to figure out how to navigate this safely.
Yeah, the one thing for these race leaders to keep in mind, of course, is that anything can happen up ahead of them. They have to keep their head on a swivel. They're going to be even more focused now than they were when it was just the two of them battling, as one little slip up from these guys battling for position a little bit further back could cause some drama ahead of them, as we do see like 5 or 6 cars just ahead of these guys coming down to 10 to go at the Charlotte Legends Oval. So time is running out, and the opportunity to make a move for the race lead is slipping away very fast here.
You mentioned it, 10 laps to go for everyone on the racetrack. And I've noticed that once Zach Novak is following behind, he has adjusted his line. He's starting to give up the entry a little bit more to try to capitalize on the exit. The same thing that we saw Josh Cottle doing earlier in the race. However, Cottle is doing the same thing. He is giving up the entry, so he's trying to capitalize on the exit, which is making life very, very difficult for Zach Novak. He's going to have to find a way around.
The one thing for Novak here is he can really pressure Cottle into getting stuck in behind one of these lap cars and just wait for the opportunity to make a bit of a crossover move. As we see Novak look into the bottom, doesn't have the opportunity to do it, gets back in line, and they do continue battling for the race lead as we're coming around to 6 laps to go. Novak running out of time very fast here, going to have to make an opportunity or set himself up for a bit of bump and run action on the final lap, as Novak makes a pass on Cottle here relatively easily.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I think that maybe Cottle just went way wide in turn 1, blew a brake marker, and all of a sudden the lead goes to Novak, but now we're side by side. Novak is, I don't know if he gave it back there, but Cottle and Novak side by side for the race lead. 5 laps to go, going down the back straightaway. The 75 has the inside line. That's been the preferred lane so far for the leaders all night tonight.
Yeah, that was a really weird sequence of events there, as we saw Novak just easily getting that race lead. Cottle moved out of the way. Then it looked like Novak may have allowed Cottle the opportunity to get back in here. 3 laps remaining here at the Charlotte Legends Oval, round 1 of the Gauntlet series. Zach Novak leading Josh Cottle as they come around to get the popsicle sticks. 2 laps to go. What will Josh Cottle do to try to get this race lead?
98 laps have been done. 99 laps have been done. 2 laps to go. Novak and Cottle are still staring at the back end of these lap cars. That's, let's see here. That's Jacob Reeves and Dakota Bro right in front of them. And now we're working the final lap here. Is Cottle going to put the bumper to Novak going into turn 3? The 75 car has the lead. He's staying down low. The 13 is going to try to square off the corner, but it's not going to be enough. Looks like Novak is going to hang on for the win. Josh Cottle, 2nd place.
What a battle all throughout tonight's race between Zach Novak and Josh Cottle. It is Zach Novak taking the victory, but of course, this is the Gauntlet series. Who was quick today may not be quick next week. So it'll be interesting to follow along all series long and see what happens. But tonight, it is all Zach Novak.
Really good racing. The 75 here, you're seeing it on screen. Your winner for the Charlotte round 1 of the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with the official results.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Maconi Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Maconi Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Maconi Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to MaconiSetupShop.com and learn why Maconi Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
You just saw Zach Novak take home the checkered flag here at round 1 of the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet put on by Maconi Entertainment, and have our official results here led off with Zach Novak. Josh Caudle battled him all the way from the green flag, led about half of the race. Shout out to Josh as well. Keegan Sobilo coming home in the 3rd position. Guillaume Hainaut, 4th. Carson Lucas, big time race there, coming home in the top 5. Aaron Smith falls down to 6th place position. Jeff Maconi, good job, 7th spot. Brian Sabelski, 8th. Tanner Marr, 9th. And Brian Zimmerman rounding out the top 10.
Dakota Brow brings it home in the 11th position tonight. He made big gains out there and showed it tonight, finishing 11th. Jacob Reeves comes home in 12th. Eric Sellers 13th. Kyle Wisner there in 14th. 15th tonight, we see Joey Misevich. Michael Klein comes home 16th with Blair Patterson there in 17th. Shane Tierney 18th. Mark McNutt 19th. And Chris Wilhite rounding out the top 20.
And everybody else from here on down, several laps down, Brandon Evans, Curtis Hedden, Blanca Gonzalez, Jason Hurdle, and then Mike Scarborough just with a couple laps done tonight. And that is going to lead us into some interviews here. And looks like we're actually going to start off with our race winner, Zach Novak. We'll see if we can get Zach Novak up here in the booth to be joining us, get a few words from him. Let's see. Zach, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on taking home round number 1 of the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet and $50.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a fun race. Really enjoyed it. Pretty good turnout as well. So, yeah, fun event. Glad we got some green flag runs as well.
Well, talk to us a little bit about that, because you didn't have the entire night out front. You started back there in the 5th place position and had to work your way up, and it was a little slow to start off, but you were able to capitalize on those restarts, and then once everything got going, it just seemed like you were hooked up out there.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of time to prepare, so I kind of just took it easy on my Q lap to make sure I got one down, and then I knew just from my prior experience in these cars, I'd have some race pace to race with. So, I just kind of let it come to me a little bit. Those restarts helped to kind of get a rhythm going, get comfortable with the car. And then, I hadn't lost too much time by the time I was comfortable. So, yeah, then Josh was super, super fast. We were pretty much bumper to bumper that entire run. So, yeah, like I said, a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it.
Now, you said you have a lot of prior experience in these types of cars, and one thing that I was noticing here watching you guys race is that you seem to have a very, very shallow line on entry and even on exit when you were out there out front. Is that just something that you've picked up through these Legends cars and it's something that they like?
I think that's mainly something to do with this track specifically. This track is really rough and has a lot of transition changes, so it's very important to kind of shallow everything out and enter straight and exit straight. So a lot of other like Legends ovals, Atlanta, etc., are like that. But this track specifically is definitely a lot like that, just because of, again, like I said, the transition on the front straightaway, and then the bumps down the back straightaway. So there's just a lot of character to this place that makes it pretty unique.
Well, that's a lot of information and detail for just a racing line. And for everybody listening, that's what it takes to intake all of that information and then be able to apply it to go out and win one of these races. And Zach, before I let you go, is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, thanks to Rise Esports, Sunoco, Maconi Setup Shop, um, all of our partners over there, JD at JDR Graphics, Logitech, SimSeats, everybody that helps out. Put our team on the racetrack every week, and then big thanks to Jeff for putting this on. Thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast. Thanks to everybody tuning in on Twitch, twitch.tv/Xenov1. Been streaming a little bit over there, so having fun with that. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the next few races go. I plan to be there. We'll see. But it should be a lot of fun if I am there.
Guaranteed that the first round winner that was Zach Novak, driver of the number 75 machine, and it's going to lead to second place here. That's going to be Josh Cottle standing by with Robert Hill.
Josh Cottles, Robert up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Josh, we saw you put on quite a performance tonight, led nearly half of the race. It seemed to come down to you and Zach Novak almost all night long, but late in the race, it almost looked like you moved up out of the way for Zach Novak. Can you just walk us through what happened there?
I accidentally went just a smidge too low, trying to keep the bottom rolling, and I just went too low and got a slow down penalty, and I just had to try to get it before getting a black flag. But I don't know. I don't know what I could have done different there.
Yeah, that's definitely disappointing. And, throughout the race, obviously, it was you and Zach. You led 45 laps. He led 53. So it was basically the 75 and the 13 all night long. But aside from that moment right there, is there some point in this race tonight that you thought, I wish I could go back and just redo that one moment and I would be the one in victory lane here?
Definitely the slow down penalty. I think I could have possibly held him off there in the front. It was just super difficult to create any momentum. It was especially when he got the lead at the beginning and I got stuck behind him. There was no momentum to be built, but I finally got around to him with a lap car. But we just both super fast, and I mean that was a very great battle. And congrats to him to the victory. That was really fun.
Most definitely. And, this is one of the tougher small tracks here on iRacing. What did you find was the biggest challenge throughout the event? Was it the flat racetrack or maybe working your way through some of this lap traffic out there?
It was a mixture of a lot of things. The traffic wasn't as bad, but there was a few times it's really sketchy and scary. But the car itself was just really loose, and there's a few times I thought I was about to wipe out, but luckily it didn't, and I could hang on. But yeah, the track is really difficult in itself. It was really fun though.
It definitely looked like a lot of fun out there. And Josh, next week, the Gauntlet Series does head to Martinsville in the late models for 200 laps. Can we expect to see you out there? And how do you feel going into that 200 lap late model race at Martinsville?
Yes, I'm gonna be racing, and I'm pretty excited. I'm a fan of the short tracks, and it's pretty much all I race. But I'm pretty excited, and I bet there's gonna be a lot of haymakers being thrown there. But we'll just see when we get there.
You can expect a lot of haymakers indeed. But before we let you go here tonight, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, man, I want to thank y'all for doing the broadcast. I hope that was as exciting to watch as it was to be in. I'm pretty sweaty and tired after that one. Thank you to Maconi and everybody that worked on this. I'm excited to be running all these if I can. Thank you to BSRM. Check them out on Facebook, Coddle Captures, and Hangout Chat Motorsports.
Congratulations on the runner-up finish here tonight, Josh, and we can't wait to see you next week at Martinsville.
Thank y'all.
That was your second place finisher, and I believe we have Keegan Sobilo, who's going to be joining us, our third place finisher, driver of the number 6 machine. Keegan, congratulations on the third place finish.
Thank you.
Now, take us through the night from your eyes. You got separated from the leaders a little bit in that long green flag run, but that wasn't the story of the entire night. There was a lot of short stuff that happened before that.
Yeah, a lot of traffic was hard to get through just with the small narrow racetrack and it's hard to pass. I just kind of had to take the opportunity when you could get it, and they were just slowly, a tenth here, a tenth there, and that's how you get a big lead there, and they did a good job. I'm sure they put on a good show up there. I heard all about it, and it looked fun from out the windshield there, but thrilled to be in here in third place. Tough competition here. First really big event with a high competition, and besides All American 400 that Maconi put on back in October. So really thrilled with this one.
Well, talk to us a little bit about the battle that you had with Guillaume tonight, because I saw you guys swapped it back and forth a couple times, but he ended it less than 2/10 off of your bumper. It looked like you guys were locked in that battle for third place.
Yeah, it was a great battle. Good racing with him there. Me and him were keeping up after the restart. We kind of had our own little race, and the leaders kept breaking away. And I know I had a little bit of a gap, but going through lap traffic, I ended up getting to slow down myself for 1 second. I had to do the best I could to slow down and not lose as much time. And then he kind of got back within reach, and we had a good little 20-lap shootout there coming online. That was really good, clean racing there. I'm thankful he didn't send me in the last corner because that was a good race there that we had.
Now, I'm going to ask you an interesting question here. What did you find was the most fun part of tonight?
The most fun part, just the challenge of the racetrack. These cars are fun cars when you have the right people racing with them. The setup was handling good, especially under braking. It was a lot of fun just to race with everyone. Really good green flag run. You rarely find that at racetracks like this, and even in official races. So it was just really fun to race with everyone and be able to tackle a racetrack like this, as challenging as it is.
And last thing, do you have anybody that you want to say hi to?
Well, there's so many people I want to thank that are on the race car here. Thank you to Black Magic Designs, After Hours Restorations, Sevilla Racing Sports, Johnson Icing Team, everyone that helps get this thing together, especially Admin Box, Fish. Put me in here in this race while I'm here tonight. I know he's a sponsor of the event. Feels really good to get him a third place finish out there tonight. Also, it was great to run with my teammates Eric Sellers and Dakota Bro out there. I know they had a little bit of rough luck, but it was great just to run with everyone. Thank you to Maconi and everyone, you guys for doing a great job with the broadcast and everything that is done to put on this event. It's gonna be a fun next 6 weeks. I can feel it.
Definitely. Well, that was your third place finisher, Keegan Sobilo, and none of this would be doable without our partners, and that's Maconi Setup Shop, Maconi Entertainment, and if you're curious more, go to www.maconisetupshop.com. There's various subscriptions that are available based off of what you like to do here in iRacing, whether it's oval racing, road course, dirt, whatever. They've got something for you, and if you're interested in getting your own races broadcast, you can also visit that same website and contact Jeff for that broadcast information. And if you even want to put on an event, Maconi Competitive Zone, the newest company from Maconi Setup Shop, and they specialize in that event organization, promotion, and execution. And Jeff can handle everything that you want. And speaking of Jeff Maconi, I believe we have him here in the booth. Jeff, you got us a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys. How's it going?
It is going great. We just wrapped up round number 1 of the 7-week series known as the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet, something that you have put together. And what did you think about night 1?
It was so much fun. Honestly, from an event organization perspective, it couldn't have gone any better. We only had a couple cautions. We had a full field of 25 cars. We've got a lot of people, and we managed to fill the field on the same night as the Daytona 500. So we've got 31 people signed up or something like that. 35 people signed up already for next week and for all the other events. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Very real possibility that we'll have a full field for the late models, which is our largest field. And I'm just double checking all my stuff here. The largest field is 36 cars. So tonight's the smallest. We go 25, 40, 30, then 34 for the ARCA, then 36 for trucks, Xfinity, and Next Gens. Next week, we're going to the late models at Martinsville for 200 laps. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited for that one. But that's from the event organization perspective. It couldn't have gone any better. From the broadcast owner's perspective, I'm sure the broadcast was phenomenal. You guys do a great job as always, so no worries there. But from just a driver's perspective, that was so much fun. I do not like the Legends cars personally. They're so small and darty, and I cannot get a grip on them. And you make one small mistake, and you're spinning around, and they're so difficult to drive. So I have a lot of respect for anyone that does drive them. It blows my mind that they're a rookie series on iRacing because they are very difficult to drive. But I had so much fun out there tonight.
And Jeff, on that point, because we talked about this with Keegan to end his interview, what was the thing that you found most fun for people that are looking to get in on this driver's gauntlet? What was the most fun part for you tonight?
Just how steep the competition was, where I never had a chance where I could just sit around and cruise and drive. You would think with these full length events and everything else, you would be constantly fighting, constantly on top of everything. Or I'm sorry, you wouldn't think that you're constantly fighting, constantly on top of everything because it's going to spread out. But no, people are here and they are racing very hard and they are on top of you the whole time. It's just so much fun. So I would say I was definitely most surprised by that, and I had a ton of fun constantly battling. I was holding off Carson and Aaron as much as I could. I was chasing down really the front four that just broke away and were gone. I was chasing them at the same time, trying to maintain a gap. It was so much fun. So I have to say that the most fun part of it was just the constant battling, and I'm really looking forward to that next week in the late models at Martinsville, because that's a car and track combination that I love, and it's very competitive. The whole time there, you will be on top of each other. So very, very excited for that.
Awesome. Well, Jeff, thank you very much for hosting these events and giving everybody the opportunity to go racing. And with that, we're going to thank tonight's race sponsor, Maconi Setup Shop, as well as our broadcast partner, Maconi Competizone. Calling the action tonight was myself, Joey Atterbury, alongside Robert Hill in the booth with Eddie Smith producing. As always, we would like to thank all of our viewers for tuning in to tonight's racing action. Don't forget, round 2 of the Driver's Gauntlet is 1 week from today, Saturday, January 28th. Stay tuned to all of our social media pages, and a special shout out, of course, goes to the entire staff and their work for bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment, and we wish you all a good night.